Unbelievable. Well, I want to start by thanking, Rick, he's done an amazing job as your governor. He's done an amazing job, and he's a great guy, and I want to thank Rick. And I want to thank Pam. She has been an incredible source of inspiration for everybody in this room. So I want to thank Pam and Rick and everybody else that's been here, and the support that we've had in Florida has been incredible. Very important state. Number one, I'm here. I'm always here. I have a lot of places in Florida. We have a lot of employees. We pay a lot of money out to the employees. They have great health care. They have great education for their families, and I'm very happy. So I love being with you this morning. Very special. Thank you. Thank you. It's a little bit different world. I'm just watching the television, the news, and in France, they have all sorts of problems. They have this massive soccer tournament. They don't know whether or not they can even hold it. They're absolutely petrified about radical Islamic terrorism coming up, and they don't know what to do. Should we hold it? Should we not hold it? The police are afraid. We got to get tough, folks. We got to get tough. We got to get smart. We got to be vigilant. We got to take care of people. We don't want division, but we've got to be smart. I mean, you can't have this happening. This is all over the world right now. In our country right now, we're allowing thousands of people, thousands upon thousands of people to come into our country, and we have no idea who the hell they are. We have no idea. They're coming in from the migration. And you look at the migration, and I look at the migration, and I say, how come there's so many young, strong men? Why don't they have so many women? Why don't they have so many children? And I look and I say, what's going on? What's going on? And we're allowing people to come in. There's no documentation. There's no paperwork. We don't know who they are, where they come from. We don't know. Is it Syria? Is it something else? Is it ISIS? Maybe. You know the story of the Trojan horse. This could be the ultimate Trojan horse, folks. These are smart people. They know what they're doing. We have no leadership. We have a president that's, as far as I'm concerned, he's incompetent. And now he's going to be campaigning for crooked Hillary Clinton, okay? He's going to be campaigning. So I look at what's going on, I see what's happening, and I've had a lot of vision. I've had some pretty good vision. I said, don't go into Iraq, you're going to destabilize the Middle East. They went into Iraq, and I said it right from the beginning, remember that. They said, well, maybe in 19 whatever. Let me tell you, I was early, and I was from the beginning, because it was going to destabilize the Middle East. And then they say, oh, Donald Trump is very tough. He's got a tough temperament. He's got a tough tone. We need a tough tone now, folks. We need a tough tone. We need it. We've got a bunch of lightweights. You know, Hillary Clinton was saying the other day, temperament. That's her whole thing, temperament. You know, number one, I built an unbelievable company, a great company. I filed papers with federal election. You don't build companies like that unless you have the right temperament, believe me. But Hillary Clinton, they just came out with a book. A Secret Service agent was with her for a long time. Said she's a total mess. A mess. She's not qualified to be president. You know who said that? Bernie Sanders said that Hillary Clinton is not qualified to be president. And he said it because she has bad judgment. And she does have bad judgment. Look at the mess that she's got us into with Syria, everything she touches. And you're going to have 4 more years of that. We won't have a country left, folks. Believe me. We will not have a country left. Not to mention the Supreme Court. You got to remember, the Supreme Court. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Is there any place better than a Trump rally? Is there any place better? Right? Even on a Saturday morning, Look at these crowds. I mean, we have crowds. You know, folks, I'll tell you what. Look, here's a Saturday morning in Tampa. We could be doing other things, right? There are other things to be doing. And you look at the crowd. By the way, I was just informed we're 2 points up in Florida, and we haven't even started yet. Okay? We haven't even started. And after this, I'm going to Pittsburgh. We'll be in Pittsburgh this afternoon, and we're going to do great in Pennsylvania. You know, the interesting thing is a lot of these states were not really states where the Republican was supposed to do well. And you're traditional. I guess I'm not traditional. You know, one of the reasons I'm not? Remember Jeb Bush? He used to say, he is not a conservative. He is not a conservative. I am actually conservative, but you know what? You know what I am? I'm for what works. Like on trade, they said, on trade. They say, we want free trade, so do I. But to have free trade, you need smart leaders. We don't have smart leaders. We have dumb leaders, okay? So we have to do. So here's the story on trade. They said, do you like free trade? I said, yes. Well, what's your policy on trade? You know what I said? I want to make good deals for the United States. That's my policy on trade. It's very simple. I don't care if it's free. I don't care if it's totally unfree. I want to make good deals for the United States because the United States is getting ripped off by every single country virtually in the world. Every country is taking our money and taking our jobs, and we have people that are political hacks negotiating the biggest deals in the world, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. And we have the greatest business people in the world, many of whom have endorsed me. Carl Icahn, all these guys, they're all endorsing me. And they don't want to get paid money. For them, it's a game of poker. It's a game of chess. They want to go against China. They've done great against China. I've done great against China. And I do really well. I like the Chinese people. I love the Mexican people. I have so many Mexicans working for me. I love all these countries. I don't hold anything against people. I hold it against our leaders for being so totally, grossly incompetent because they don't know what they're doing. And you look at these trade deals, and you look where China, as an example. Hey, look, the biggest bank in the world is a tenant of mine in a building in Manhattan from China. I sell condos to people from China for a tremendous amount of money, tens of millions of dollars. I love these people. I love these people. I own the big chunk of the Bank of America building in San Francisco, comes through China, through an indirect, wow, you're very complicated, but through China. We can do great with China. And by the way, China is ripping us off, so is every other country. China is ripping us off. They're the #1 abuser. Because what they do is they devalue their currency. Do you ever notice? Whenever they have a little problem, we start to cut in, they devalue their currency, knock our companies out of business. They knock us out of business. And again, I'm not angry at China. I'm angry at our leaders, if you call them that, our leaders. I'm not angry at China. I'm not angry at anybody. I'm angry at our leaders because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know. And we're not going to have a country. I'll tell you what. I didn't need to do this, folks, you know, in all fairness. I didn't need to do this. This is something I want to give back. You know, you ever hear the expression, people want to give back? I've done so well in this country. It's been such a great country. I love the people of the country now more than ever before. You know, we have a movement going on, folks. I mean, look at this room, this massive room. At this time, what time is it? Yeah, I mean, it's like in the morning. Look at this room. And it's like this no matter where we go. We give 1 day's notice. Yesterday we gave 1 day's notice. We were in Virginia. 1 day's notice. The place, I mean, we have thousands and thousands of people. And it's called, listen to this, it's called a movement. We are part of a movement. And, you know, in many, many years, I was on the cover of Time magazine. All these years, I work and work. I was on the cover of Time magazine, I think once or twice, right? For years, 35 years. That's not so bad, once or twice, cover of Time. Now, the last 6 months, I think I'm 4 or 5 times. Is it crazy? So it shows you, no, it shows you how important it is. It's like the other day, I woke up, I look, I say, what's that? It's the cover of Time magazine. It's my picture. I didn't even know I was going to be on the cover. Because you know what happens? We have something going that's so special, that's so big, that's so important. Pundits are saying, many of them, it's the single greatest political movement that they've seen ever in this country. Ever in this country. And we're going to win the race. You know, one thing they was talking about before, a number of states, I don't know if you saw with New York, I won in a massive landslide. We won Pennsylvania in the primaries in a massive landslide. They're all landslides. Connecticut was so great. We won that in a massive landslide. They even used the word, they hate to use it, with me. If it was Bernie Sanders, they'd say it was a massive landslide. Not so long ago, I had 17,000 people at an event. Bernie, at a different location, had 3,000 people, which is a lot of people, 3,000 people. But I had this massive crowd. I think it was 17,000. And they said, Donald Trump is here tonight, and he's discussing what he's discussing. You know, let's all fall asleep. And they go, huh? And he goes, Donald Trump talked about this. And then, okay, back to you in New York. And then the guy from Bernie said, Bernie Sanders is here tonight. He's got a massive crowd of 3,000 people. And I'm saying, I don't believe it. I have 17,000 people. They don't say it. And by the way, the cameras, they never scan the room. Every time, no, it's true. They never scan the room. Very dishonest people. They're very dishonest people. But they never, the only time they scan the room is if there's a protester, because that's a bad thing, they think. But I love my protesters. We love our protesters, right? We're going to get, many of those protesters are going to end up, believe me, a lot of the protesters that you see, they're going to end up voting for Trump. Believe me. When they learn how crooked Hillary is, they're going to end up voting for Trump. And a lot of Bernie Sanders people, you know, he got a rigged system. Now, I used to say the Republican system was rigged, but, and it is, it's impossible. It's almost impossible for a guy like me. You know, I was establishment. I shouldn't say it. Everyone's going to leave if I say that, but that's okay. I was like the ultimate establishment guy. Campaign contributions. I was very popular. They'd call me, hi, Mr. Trump, we're having a golf outing. I'd always say no thanks, but I'd always send the check. But I was like an establishment person. And then once I said I'm running, they said, what the hell, he's running? And all of a sudden he became the outsider of all outsiders. And I'm running because I understand how the system works better than anybody. So I've been doing this now for 12 months. Have I done a good job? Have I done a good job? But I've been doing it for 12 months. And it's been, you know, thank you, honey. She said, thank you. Believe me, it's not easy, folks. You think this stuff is easy? It's not easy. But thank you. But you know what? I love doing it. A friend of mine, and I've told this story, but a friend of mine likes to come to these things. A lot of people like to come. Who's been to these events more than once? I'm telling you, a great musician said Trump is the best in the world, and he doesn't have a guitar, meaning we get the biggest crowds, and I don't play a guitar. Who else does this without a band or without a musical instrument? Believe me. It's a lot easier with an instrument. But look. We have something happening that's so important. And in November, we have to do such a good job. Now, it's early. We're just starting the process. Most people say, don't even bother campaigning right now. It's June. Wait till after the convention. We're going to have a great convention. Wait till after the convention. Don't bother. I don't want to do that. I'm sitting home. I'm listening to lies being told about me by this dishonest media because, believe me, they are so dishonest. You know, so dishonest. Man. I watched this poor, sad Mitt Romney this morning. He suffers from misogynist. I don't think he knows what misogynist is. He suffers from, and he's sitting like a real stiff. Don't forget, this guy let us down, folks. He choked, and he let us down. And we're not going to let it, and he knows that, hey, look, he doesn't like Trump because I said, you can't give him a third chance. He lost the first time. He really lost the second time. And the second time was a race that was an easy one. We had a failed president. We had a president who's a disaster and was a disaster. And at that point, he was even lower than he is now. So we had a failed president, and we had a candidate that didn't work like he should have worked. He wasn't doing television. You know, I called up, I'd say, because I supported him. I gave him a tremendous amount of money. I did robocalls. I did a couple of speeches for him. Frankly, if they would have used me in Florida, he would have won Florida, but they're not smart enough. They would have won Florida. But you know what? I worked for him. But then when I heard he was going to run again and I was thinking about running, I let him know. I said, the guy's a stone-cold loser. He choked, and when you're a choker, you can never give a choker a second chance. It's too important. A choker is a choker. You see it in sports. You see it in sports, folks. When the guy misses the kick, you get rid of him. You get another one in there. They miss the big shot, you get him out of there, folks. I don't know. That's the way I feel. We couldn't take a chance. You know, so I backed John McCain, and he lost. And his was a tough situation because, frankly, I'm not sure Abraham Lincoln could have won that speech with what was going on. But I backed John McCain, and he lost. I backed Mitt Romney, and he really lost. And then I said, you know what, folks? This time, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to win. We're going to win. No more games. No more games. No more sitting there saying, I think he's a racist. I am the least racist person that you've ever met, believe me. The least racist person. I get a call yesterday as an example. Street smart guy, but very street smart. Don King, you know Don King, the boxing promoter. And Don King said, Donald, I'm endorsing you for president. Now, you think Don King, and he knows me well, you think he's going to endorse a racist, okay? So, you know, it's a sad situation when people, but you know, we're going to win. But if it ever happened where I didn't, I go off into the sunset, folks. Good luck in 4 years. You go off into the sunset. You don't sit there jealous and sick to your stomach. You go off. We have a war to win against a very crooked politician named Hillary Clinton, okay? I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to defend ourselves against these phony people that are, I don't know, they've got something. But I watch the level. The Republican Party really should get their act together. They have to come together. We got to win. And if for no other reason, the Supreme Court, remember that. For no other reason. Now, I always say, most importantly is defense. We got to protect our country. We have a military that's totally depleted. You all saw on Fox and on CNN, they did separate reports where our great pilots, these are these great young people, and now they're not as young because they've been, one of them there for 18 years, and he said, you know, when I came in, this equipment was beautiful, new, nice. Now he's flying the same equipment, and it's old, and it's tired. Fighter jets. These are the fighter jets. This is the United States. And the fighter jets are old, and they have no parts for them. They're so old. So you know what they do? For the United States, our great pilots, our best fighter jets, they're going to the desert, where they have what they call plane graveyards. And they're going to museums where they have these, they're in museums, they're so old. And they're taking the parts from the museum, and they're taking the parts from the graveyard, and they're putting them on the fighter jets, and then our young people, men and women, are getting in these planes, and they're flying planes and being shot at. That's not going to happen anymore, folks. That's not going to happen anymore. We're going to build up our military. And don't forget, when Crooked Hillary says Donald Trump temperament, she's got the bad temperament. And remember what the Secret Service agent said. She's a total mess. She's unstable. She's unstable. And she can't be president. That's what they said. So she uses the thing about Trump's temperament. Look, we need strong temperament. At first I was going to say, oh, but I have a good temperament. It's not a question. I have a strong temperament. I'm the one who didn't want to go into Iraq. Remember that. You know, all these people saying Donald Trump is tough. They talk about the trigger, right? The nuclear trigger. Well, let me tell you, I'll probably be the last one to do it. I hope to God we never have to do it. because that is a disaster. But I'm the one that didn't want to go into Iraq. Now, I was a civilian, so nobody really cared that much. I was doing my deals. I mean, you know, it's not like, oh, Mr. Trump, what do we do? But I'm dated back, way back, where I was saying, no Iraq, you're going to destabilize the Middle East. And by the way, everything I said happened. Everything I said. It all happened. The Middle East is destabilized. I said, Iran is going to take over Iraq. That's exactly what happened. Because you had two powers that were identical in terms of military strength. And they'd fight with each other for decades. They'd go 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, rest. 10 feet, 10 feet. Gas would be thrown by Saddam Hussein. The world would go crazy. Then Iran throws a little gas. Then they rest. And this went on for decades, right? Then we knocked the hell out of one of these two nations that hated each other. And remember this about Iraq. Iraq has among the biggest oil reserves in the world. So not only did we give Iran one of the great deals of the century when our very, very incompetent Secretary of State, John Kerry, grossly incompetent, this guy never got up from the table once to walk. How do you make a deal with people? And they're great negotiators, the Persians. They're great negotiators. How do you not get up once, twice? And I used to hear what they're doing. I used to follow it. I love it. You know, deals, I love deals. I mean, frankly, any deal, I love deals. But here's one that was so obvious. And they'd say no. And we'd say, well, we'd like to have this. No. Oh, okay. How about this? No. Okay, we agree. And then the guy goes into a bicycle race. He's 73 years old. He wants to be in a bicycle race. He breaks his leg. He's walking around like, can you believe, in the middle of the biggest negotiation, he goes into a bicycle race. He breaks his leg. And he's incapacitated. And then a few weeks later, he walks in on crutches. And you know what they're saying to each other? How dumb is this guy? How dumb? This is the kind of people we have. And we have the prisoners, and they're over there. And that negotiation should have never, ever started unless those prisoners were released before it started. And the first meeting should have been with John Kerry or anybody saying, sorry, folks, we cannot do this negotiation as long as you are holding our hostages. We can't do it. And they'll say, no way, we're not going to do it. And then we say, sorry, but we have to. And we leave the room, we get back on the plane, we double up the sanctions, and by the time you get back to the United States, there'll be a phone call, the prisoners are released, let's get going. Okay? I wanted two big things in that. First of all, anything nuclear, if you can make good deals on nuclear, that's a good thing, I have to say. I'm all for deals. But they got to be good deals, not bad deals. We make bad deals. We don't have anybody to make good deals. We don't have people that are smart. We don't have deal makers. We have political... I won't say it. I won't say it because I'll get in trouble. You know, when I use a slightly off word, slightly off, when I call this really bad senator, she's done nothing. She's done nothing. She said she's Native American. And I said, Pocahontas. It's Pocahontas. And somebody said to me, one of the media, Mr. Trump, would you apologize? I said, yes, I'll apologize. To Pocahontas, I will apologize. Because Pocahontas is insulted by the state. No, I mean, this is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with. We have to get smart. We have to get tough. We have to stop being so politically correct. The Republican Party and our leaders, we've got to get down to business. We can't be, I mean, I've had more opposition from the Republican Party than I do from the Democrats. It's crazy. With that being said, I think it's coming together. I think it's coming together. Don't forget, I'm an outsider. They're not used to it. You know, we had 18 people. And then one after another, boom, 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 boom. And some of it wasn't nice. You know, Jeb Bush was favored to win. And I would say he doesn't like me too much. You know what's interesting? guys, there were a number of them, but they signed a pledge. The reason they wanted the pledge was because of me. They wanted me to sign the pledge. I would have honored the pledge. If I didn't make it, I would have honored the pledge. And it would have been hard to do, actually, because for some of them, it would have been very hard to do. But I would have honored the pledge. So they sign a pledge. They go into the RNC. They use all of their information because they signed the pledge. So they took, I guess you could say, millions of dollars worth of free information. And then they lose. And they don't honor the pledge. You know, I'm from business. We sort of have to do things like we honor things, right? They sign a pledge, they don't honor a pledge. So the Republican Party has to be tough, has to be smart. And if they're not tough and smart, I'm going to win, but a lot of other people won't. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. We have a couple of senators we don't want to endorse Trump. That's okay. I don't care. If they don't endorse me, that's fine. I'm not going to campaign. I have 1 or 2 states where I'm leading in the state, and they're doing poorly, and they don't want to endorse me. And I'm saying, what the hell are they doing? You know, what are they doing? And I don't care. But we could have a case where I win and many others don't. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. If that happens, then I have a Senate without the majority, which would be bad, because I'd love to see the majority. I was with Mitch yesterday. I would love to see the majority. But the Republicans have to stick together. They have to be smart. And they have to be tough. Because, you know, one thing I'll say about the Democrats, to a much greater degree, they stick together. They stick together much more so than the Republicans. Nobody's ever been able to explain why. But the Republicans have to be tough because we have the better ideas. We have the better ideas. And my ideas are better than any of them, believe me. My ideas are better than any. Because many people, Democrat and Republican, say you're too tough on trade. Too tough? I'm not too tough on trade. When we lose $505 billion, we have a trade deficit with China. $505 billion. And then they say, you're being a little bit tough on China. We have rebuilt China, folks. We've rebuilt it. You go there, you see airports, the likes of which we've never seen. You see trains that go 250 miles an hour. We have the Long Island Railroad, which is always dear to my heart. Chug, 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 chug. We will be out of service for the next 1 week. We're fixing the tracks. You know. No, I mean, it's a whole different thing. The Trump train. The Trump train. That was right. Who said that? Who said that? Somebody over there said, we got the Trump train. That's a very good aid. I would have never thought of that one. Well, the Trump train is going 600 miles an hour, folks. I'll tell you that. But we've got China, and they laugh at us. They think we're stupid people. They think we're like our leaders. They look at all of us, and all of us are disgusted. That's why I'm doing well. I mean, this is my first stop in Florida, my first campaign stop, you know. Again, everybody said, oh, wait till after the convention. I can't wait. I'm dying to get going. What am I going to do? Play around to golf? It's boring. I want to do this. I want to do this. But then you have Mexico. Mexico is ripping us off so badly, folks. Mexico is killing us. Mexico, and nothing against Mexican leaders. I have respect. In fact, one of them, Vicente Fox, he was the president of Mexico. He was on CNN. It's all right. And he said, we will never pay for that. And he used the F word, right? And I said, oh, he's going to get killed using the F word. Can you imagine if I used the F-bomb? It'd be the electric chair. Here's a guy, and he used the F. He said, we will never pay for that F-bomb wall, right? I said, oh, he's dead. Nobody even mentioned it. Nobody even mentioned it. But I was happy because a year ago and 2 years ago, he said, we'll never have a wall. Now he's saying we'll never pay for the wall, so he's assuming the wall's going to happen. And just... Folks, ready? America first. Very simple. America first. It's America first. We got to build the wall. You know, 16,500 Border Patrol agents endorsed me. They endorsed me about 3 weeks ago. And I was very honored by that because they have never endorsed a presidential candidate before. And by the way, before I forget, the NRA, the National Rifle Association, endorsed me last week. And for you incredible folks in Tampa, you know Hillary Clinton wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to take your guns. Who has guns in this place? Wow. Wow. And what would you say if somebody came along and said, we want to take that gun away from you? She wants to take your guns away. That's what she wants to do. She wants to take your guns away. Essentially, she wants to abolish the Second Amendment. And, you know, when you look at Paris, where they had 130 people killed viciously, and it's just boom, 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 boom. Hundreds of people went to the hospital. Many of those people are still there. They'll never be the same. Just destroyed, right? Destroyed. Totally destroyed. If there were guns on the other side of that room, or if in San Bernardino, 14 people killed by radical Islamic terrorists who became radicalized. And these were people that gave a baby shower to the child of these people that killed them. I mean, what's going on? We got to know what's going on here, folks. 14 people killed, many people in the hospital to this day. Okay, 14 people killed. Let me tell you, if you, with a beautiful red hat, make America great again, if this woman here with the blue, if a few of you had a gun right here or a gun around the ankle and bullets were flying in the other direction, number one, they may never have come into the place because they would have said, there are guns in there. I don't want to go in there. But at a minimum, the carnage would have been very, very, very substantially less. Let the bullets go in the other direction. Boom, boom, boom. Believe me. Believe me. Remember when our 5 great soldiers a little more than a year ago were killed? These were 5 great soldiers. One of them was like a world-class marksman. And on a military base, it was a gun-free zone. Can you imagine having a gun-free zone on a military base? These people are about guns, and they know how to use guns, and they're protecting us with guns. So they have a gun-free zone. These are 5 great soldiers. One of them, world-class marksman, one of the top there is. So they're sitting there. Their guns are probably 200 yards away in a safe or something. And they're sitting there, and this whack job walks in and kills them all. There wasn't a thing they could do. So we're going to make things right again in this country, folks. We're going to make things right. We're going to make great trade deals. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. And, okay, are you ready? Who's going to pay for the wall? Better believe it. You better believe it. So, and we're going to end up having a great relationship with Mexico. We're going to end up having a great relationship with China. Mexico will pay for the wall. You know, when I was on the stage with the debates, I didn't know what I was getting. I never debated professionally before. Many of these politicians, that's what they do. That's what, you know, it's all talk, no action stuff. So that's what they do. They debate. They don't get anything done. They debate. So I went on every single poll of every single debate. And I have to, when I say this, all this, you know, sleazy people back there in the press. So I have to be careful. But when I debate, every single debate, every single poll. Now you have Drudge, a fantastic guy. You have Time Magazine. You have Slate. You have all these different polls. You know, there are polls now for everything. They have a poll for everything. No matter what it is, if you go to the bathroom, they have a poll. How many times in a day? But they have a poll for everything. And every single poll of every single debate, they had me winning the debate. Is that good? Is that good? Every single. And, which was a great honor. But when I look at it, and here's the thing, I was center stage in every debate. You know the way guys kept falling off the ends? You know, they kept falling off. I said, Jeb, you're not going to be here much longer. You're pretty far down there, Jebba. You're not going to be here much longer, Jeb. You got to get tougher, Jeb. I don't think he's going to endorse me. Do you, folks? I don't think so. Who the hell cares? Who cares? And by the way, I'm very nice to a lot of the people that I won against. I don't even use the word that I've defeated. I want to be nicer than that, because some of them are good. I mean, Rick Perry is an example, governor of Texas, very good guy. I always liked him. But he became very vicious in the debate. And he actually went to the Washington Press Club and did a beautiful job. He did a speech, and he did a beautiful job. And he said, Donald Trump is a cancer on the Republican Party. I said, man, that's tough. Whoa. And it was, like a half an hour of this stuff. And then he was off. I was very tough on him, by the way. But he was off. I mean, don't I have a right to be with that? So he was out. Then he came back. Didn't call me. And he said, I endorse Donald Trump. And he's maybe the smartest person ever to run for president. How about that? What a difference. What a difference. What a difference. And I called him and I thanked him. And I understand it's politics and it's tough stuff. But I appreciate when people are respectful. And, you can lose and you show respect. But I appreciate it. And we have some good people. We had some good people on that stage. And we have some great people in the Republican Party. Everybody wants to know who I'm going to choose for vice president. Who do you like? He says Newt. Who do you like? They say Sessions. Sessions. He says Condi Rice. Who else? Who do you like? Let's see. I've never done this before. This is fun. This is fun. We have a lot of good people. You'll be happy. You're going to be happy. And we have some unbelievable people for different positions, like Homeland Security, like Attorney General. Don't forget with Hillary. Don't forget with Hillary. You got a 6-year statute of limitations, folks. Because honestly, we're being 100% straight. Look, what's happening with Hillary Clinton is a disgrace. She's broken the laws of our land. She's made us totally vulnerable from a national security standpoint. She was Secretary of State. What she did with her server is illegal. It's wrong, both on a common sense basis and on a legal basis. It's wrong. It's wrong. And it looks to me like nothing's going to happen to her because it's a rigged system, folks. It's a rigged system. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But it looks to me like nothing's going to happen. Why would they let it go so long? Why would they let it go so long? And then Obama endorses a person, and Josh Earnest yesterday said essentially that this is a criminal investigation. Now, I think when he said that, they probably went nuts in the White House. And a lot of people said he wasn't supposed to say that. But he probably said the truth. But when you get right down to it, how do you endorse somebody that's under criminal investigation? And we'll have to see what happens, folks. But people that have done 5% of what she's done, whether it's General Petraeus or many others, they've done nothing compared to what she's done. They have been forced to pay a price that you wouldn't believe. It's destroyed their lives. And Hillary's out there campaigning and saying 100% certain that nothing happens. Did you see that the other day? 100%. Who's 100% certain about anything? She's 100% certain. How can she be 100% what she did? When you watch all of the pundits, they bring in the lawyers, and I read it, and I see it, and I study it, and I have great lawyers, and every one of them says to me, guilty. You very rarely see a lawyer that says not guilty, all right? So let's say even if it was 90%, but I don't even know if I see anybody that says not. She's guilty. So how is she allowed to run for president? Now, with that being said, I really want to run against her. I have to be honest. That's the one we want to run against. So we're going to build the wall. We're going to make great trade deals with Mexico. And what happened is these guys would come off the stage, and at the beginning, like early on the debates, they'd come on, you're not really serious about the wall. You can't really build a wall. And I'd say, listen, let me tell you, I'm not going to mention names, but a lot of people would say it. A lot of politicians would say it because they don't know anything about building. How many people know how to build here? I love builders. You know, I'm building the old post office in Washington, D.C., one of the most sought-after properties in the history of the General Services Administration, GSA. That's like the landlord of the country. And great people, by the way. I got it. One of the most sought after. Everybody wanted it. I got it because of a strong financial statement. They wanted to make sure it got finished. Very strong balance sheet, number one. And number two, they liked my vision. So here's the story. I'm much more than a year ahead of schedule. And in fact, I'll tell you a little story. I'm 2 years ahead of schedule. And I told my people, don't say that. Because it doesn't sound right. It sounds too much, right? Does that make sense? I say we're a year ahead of schedule. It's crazy. We're 2 years ahead of schedule. We don't have to have it open for 2 years. And we're going to be opening, like in September, we'll have a ribbon cutting. I want to delay it a little bit toward the election. Do you understand? I could actually do it in September early. I don't want to, because sometimes you people only have a 2-week span. We remember for 2 weeks, it's no good. So I think I'll open in September, but I'll have the grand opening, like, how about around October 29th or something like that, right? But it's true. I'm close to 2 years ahead of schedule. And I told my people, I said, don't say 2 years, because they came out and they said, we're 2 years ahead. I said, it's not believable. It's true. I said, say 1 year, it sounds better. Crazy, right? Am I right about that or not? 2 years, it sounds like too much. How can you be 2 years? I'm 2 years. But I'm going to say 1 year, because I think I'm covered that way, right? But I built a great building. I'm under budget and ahead of schedule. Under budget and ahead of schedule. Terms you never, ever, ever hear with our government. They build a road, it costs 10 times more. They build a bridge. Look at San Francisco with the bridge. They built a bridge. Who built the bridge? China. China built the bridge. Right? San Francisco, way, way over budget. China, you think China made a couple of bucks on the bridge? Oh, I don't think so. Nobody knows that stuff. That's what I'm best at. Can you imagine having somebody that really knows how to build and knows how to build under budget, ahead of schedule? I'm really good at this stuff, and it can be done. And we have everything costs too much. Our military stuff, we're going to build up our military, but we got to buy the best equipment at the lowest price. We don't do that. We don't do that. I mean, there's so many things that we have to do. There's so many. I give you an example. I won the primaries spending just about the least amount of money. I mean, I can't compare this to a couple of guys that didn't even try, they had no money. They got zeros, right? They were all at zero. I mean, you had so many guys at zero, they stayed for the following week. 0, 0, 0. I said, how many times can they stay at zero? I spent less money than anybody else, and I had by far the best results, massive victories, landslides, right? And I think about our education system. We're last on the list in terms of countries. We're ranked number 28 to 30. And you have Norway, Denmark, Sweden, China, Japan. They're the top countries. But we're ranked last, or close to last, and yet we spend the most. So just so you understand, with me, I spent the least and I have the best result. In education, isn't that what we want? Okay, isn't that what we want? So in education, we spent the most. We spend the most money per pupil in the world by a factor that there is no second place. There is no second place. So this is what we want to do. First of all, we're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to bring education local, okay? Obviously, it doesn't work. Obviously, it doesn't work. But I want to thank everybody. This is a great honor. I'll be seeing you a lot. I'll be here so much. I'll be in Florida. I'll be with you so much over the next 5 months. that you're going to say, please keep him the hell out of Florida. He's driving us crazy. He's driving us crazy. But seriously, look, we have a big task. Winning Florida is absolutely imperative. You don't win Florida, they say it's over. But I think I'm going to win a lot of states that nobody ever thought about, because we're getting numbers that are incredible in states that no Republican really would think about. But we're going to win Florida. But most importantly, if I win, our country is going to start winning again. Okay? We're going to start winning again. We're going to win with every element. We're going to win with our military. We will defeat ISIS, by the way, very, very quickly. Very quickly. We have no choice. Chop off heads, have no choice. We're going to win at the border. We're going to win with trade. We're going to win with education. We're going to win with everything. Oh, happy birthday. They're singing happy birthday. Don't tell me happy. I don't want to hear about that birthday. Thank you, darling. That's so nice. I don't know if I want to. I'm very torn on that birthday. I'm very torn. You understand me? I'm very torn. I feel like I'm 35. That's the good news, okay? I feel like I'm 30. So, folks, I want to thank you. And really, we don't win anymore as a country, but we are going to start winning so much. You're going to love it. You're going to be proud. You're going to be proud of your president. More importantly, you're going to be proud of your country again. Thank you very much. I love you, Tampa. I love you, Florida. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.